February 9th. Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 16 to 18. In these three exhortations, Paul gives us a picture of what the Christian life should look like. This is God's will, His desire for all those who are in relationship with Jesus, both the individual Christian as well as the community of believers. Joy, prayer, and thanksgiving are to be continual aspects of the Christian life, not intermittent events based on our circumstances or emotions. How is this even possible, we may ask? The answer is in the phrases themselves. So let's unpack them briefly. 1. Rejoice always. This joy has nothing to do with favorable circumstances and everything to do with God. The word in Greek means to lean towards grace. So we are delighted as we experience God's grace. And since His grace upon our lives is constant and unceasing, we can always, at all times, rejoice. 2. Pray continually. This phrase seems rather intimidating, especially in the older versions of the Bible, which translate it as pray without ceasing. But it actually refers to praying without any unnecessary time intervals, meaning we should not let anything distract us from our prayer times. This would refer to both our routine times of prayer as well as the many opportunities for prayer that arise throughout each day. We are being called to cultivate a lifestyle of prayer, sensitive to the Spirit's promptings, and always ready to enter into that intimate place of God's presence. 3. Give thanks in all circumstances. Again, the Greek word for giving thanks includes the word grace. Literally, we are thankful for God's good grace. And of course, no matter how difficult the circumstance, we can always see God's grace in its midst. We don't deny the trouble or suffering or pain or loss as the case may be, but we can be thankful for God's grace through it all. I don't think it is by chance that the injunction to pray continually is between rejoicing and giving thanks always. For prayer is the place where we enter into and remain in God's presence. It is the place where we become aware of God's grace, and then we rejoice and give thanks. Continual prayer will naturally lead to continual rejoicing and thanksgiving. Today's prayer: Lord, teach me to rejoice always, pray continually, and give thanks in all circumstances.